There we go. Okay, cool. We are ready.
Hold on. I'm just making sure my
All right, I have my timer running. Let me smooth into my radio voice.
I love the vocal warm-ups that Ron Burgundy does in the Anchorman movies that aren't really vocal warm-ups.
yeah, they're just like nothing. But
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
The arsonist.
Andre the Giant gave a surprisingly nimble foot rub. Foot rub.
Foot rub.
They're supposed to have like alliteration and stuff.
Yeah, but it's just a random thing.
Will
Red
Ferrell.
leather, yellow leather.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm recording into mine. I think. Okay, I say this every time, but I think I figured out something that might make my recording work better. But
okay,
just come on, little MacBook, you can do it. I believe in you.
It can do it.
The little MacBook that could.
The little MacBook that could.
The classic children's tale. Okay. Close this. Open up my notes. All right. I am ready to go whenever you are.
I'm ready. Go for it.
Cool. Hello and welcome everyone to the Tosche Station, the young folks' official Star Wars podcast where we very, very impatiently wait for more Last Jedi marketing, prompting us to have nothing to podcast about for weeks and weeks until today. Last time we did the Last Jedi trailer and we were like, sorry, we took a really long break. And then this time we're like, sorry, we did it again. But that's because there's a scarcity of information. And Alex and I have been a little lazy when it comes to like making theory episodes and whatnot. But yeah, we're your hosts. I'm Jordan Decker.
And I'm Alex Suffolk, and I like to think that we're just, we have standards. We're picky. We only want to bring you the best. We don't want to waste your time. We want to give you the hottest Star Wars news. That's why we're here. Well, I mean, we like the discussion stuff too. Yeah, maybe we are lazy. No.
You with a Rey theory, unless it's something really, really controversial.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are only the good ones. Only if you like kind of want to hate the person and kill them. Like, is the theory worth it? If the internet,
it's true.
If the internet has taught me anything, that's the only thing worth reading is stuff that people send death threats over.
Yeah, and if there's any evidence for it in Force Awakens, get that shit out of there. You need to think outside the box.
Yeah, it's just there's too much of it already. Anyway, so the reason why we came out of our holes yet again is Vanity Fair had a huge piece on the Force Awakens. I think they called it something like the definitive preview, which is like, of The Last Jedi. Yeah. Oh, Last Jedi. They all run it together. It's going to be so bad in a few years when all the movies are out and just I'm an old man and they're all the same. Yes, The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
The definitive Last Jedi preview is the Vanity Fair story. They had like a bunch of covers. They're like all different pictures on it. A bunch of pictures in the article itself. So there is a lot to talk about here. Like a surprising amount to talk about.
More than you
in
think,
this article.
Sure.
Right? Like you think you just open a magazine and it's just like, oh, this one's gonna be good. It's the second one. It's gonna be darker. And that's all it's been for like a year. But this actually had some meat on it. So let's get into it. Let's rapid fire through all the things that are in here, Jordan.
All right. So just keep in mind, disclaimer for all of these, that we don't know for sure if the shots that you see in these covers are going to be shots resembled a little bit in the film. Like obviously the locations are going to be there, but certain poses that the characters are in, that's just something that the photographer probably thought, wouldn't it be cool if Luke and Leia were hugging like this? I hope they have a hug just like that in the movie, but who knows?
I want to hear that conversation. Wouldn't it be cool if they hugged? I think that'd just be cool.
Wouldn't it be cool like they pitch it like it's an action scene?
Yeah, wouldn't it be so cool? He like wraps his arm around there, and they're just, aw.
Yeah. We'll enhance it with CGI. Yeah.
Anyway,
so the first cover, I mean, they go in no order, but there's four. There's four Vanity Fair covers, and one of them is Luke and Rey standing together on Ahch-To.
Which sounds like a sneeze. That's one thing I didn't like. I'm sorry. That's hard to take seriously.
It's very Star Wars-y, but it sounds like a sneeze. And they look all stoic. Rey has her staff at this point, so we can assume that they haven't really started much training yet because she's not using the lightsaber. Luke is wrapped up in his cloak, and in my opinion, he looks cold. He's sort of clutching that robe a little tighter. So, Alex, what did you think of that one?
Well, there's those breeze up in the mountains. That the dramatic wind. It's always dramatic wind. That's why it's
Oh
so
my god,
cold.
it was probably really cold there on the. It was right on the ocean.
Oh yeah, it's like off like it's like an English island or like by like Ireland or something. It's cold there most of the year. So yeah, I don't blame him for wearing a
The
cloak.
force keeps you warm.
Mm, I
Is that her
mean,
training? Just
I mean
force
like
hand warmers.
even like Luke needed a tauntaun from time to time, so yeah, I don't
That's
know.
true.
I don't know if there's like force heat. That would be a cool power, but anyway.
We'll talk about it later. The creatures on the island are just tauntauns that he cuts into whenever he gets cold.
Oh my god.
We'll get there later. We'll get there.
Yeah. Okay. Just trail it for me. What about you?
Yeah.
Okay. So like you said, I think this picture, I guess if it's like has a timeline, it's like towards the beginning, like right when she's handing the lightsaber off to him, still holding the staff. The thing that got me was Luke wearing his glove. Now we know at the end of the Force Awakens, when he pulls back the hood, we see he has his robot hand. And in Return of the Jedi, the robot hand is actually kind of covered with like flesh, so it looks like a normal hand. But I guess now either something happened to it, or it's just kind of wear and tear, and he hasn't like replaced it or fixed it. So I kind of like how like the glove is there as a signifier that like, yeah, he's just covering it up now. He's more rugged. He's not gonna fix it. He's just got to live with it at this point. So it's a little it's a nice touch to like see the what's the word, the continuity there, as well as like it's sort of like thematic that he's clearly damaged, but he's trying to like cover it up and move on. That's sort of how I was digging into that. But
Everything is poetry and rhymes and is symbolic.
that's what happens when your story is so mythic, is that you can take about like every little single thing, be like, yeah, it's either drinking out of a cup, that could also be like the Holy
Jesus,
Grail,
the Holy
all
Grail,
grails.
the Last Supper,
Yeah, they are
etc.
enjoying this meal together. He cuts a
Oh,
pear and he sends it
yep.
over to her.
You joke,
That
but
is part
I
of
saw
him.
Alien Covenant, and that was the whole thing. Was just biblical references.
Oh, I bet. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ridley Scott kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
loves it.
Anyway,
Do
who do
you
you
think?
yeah.
I was going to ask you, based on what you were just saying, do you think there's a chance that in any of the flashback scenes we could see how his hand skin got damaged, or is that something that they'd more just go into in some random comic?
I don't think it's like I honestly think it's wear and tear. I think it's more just like I don't think it was like he like dipped his hand in like metal or like molten lava or something. And, oh no, I don't have a hand anymore.
In one
I
bad day.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's more just like the plastic or the silicon, whatever they use to like simulate flesh,
Hmm.
just sort of as time went on, like pieced off of it, and he just never got around to fixing it because he's stuck on this like holy planet with not much tech on it.
True.
So that's what I think. I think it's more of just a gradual process, and in that case, it's not too interesting to like get into.
Yeah.
It's just a nice touch, sort of like in the background.
Yeah, I guess maybe if my hand didn't heal, then it would look really gross because I have gotten various cuts on it in the past. And then maybe what he did is at some point it just got too, like, it wasn't good to look at anymore. So he just pulled the rest off. Like, I might as
Oh, it
well
was
just go
like
full robot hand and gross people out all the time.
Oh, it was like too gnarly to have like the fake skin all like messed up.
Like, kind of shredded in places and just half. Like,
Oh
better go
god.
full robot than like half hand.
Yeah. Ugh, yeah. Okay.
Just a
Yeah,
feeling.
I could see that. That'd be cool. Maybe he grabs the lightsaber
Ooh,
because he
yeah,
can.
I can do this.
I mean, it
Um,
only lasts for like a second, but you could do it.
uh, So yeah, I don't really have anything else to add about that. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Luke as a master finally. It's cool.
Yes.
The other cover, I mean, we're gonna talk about more. We have a good guys one. We have a bad guys one. Alex, I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Star Wars has good guys and bad guys sometimes.
Yeah, I like how the next two are sort of just like the same lineup, but like the dark version and the good version.
Yeah, you gotta hope that each person fights the person that's in the same like position as them on the magazine. That
Yeah.
Marie Tran ends up fighting Hux for some reason. If that's
They just get like fisticuffs.
I don't even know you. Punch, punch. Um, so in this one, we have Poe and Finn, and Poe is resting his arm casually on top of Finn's shoulder, and the newcomer to the group, Kelly Marie Tran's character, Rose, she is just sort of chilling, and she's kind of third wheeling, to be honest, because it looks like Poe and Finn are definitely having some bromance, and Poe's got some stubble, and in my opinion, it looks like Poe and Finn are both having a who more looks like Han Solo competition.
You know what? You nailed it right on the head. I was just going to say they look like they're both trying to do something and not succeeding at it, but I don't know what it is. Yes, they're both trying to be Han Solo.
It's like
that's
slightly different colors of jackets and stuff, but their blasters are holstered on
yeah,
the same side, and they have those kind of like pilot cargo pants, and then
yeah, and like their posture, they got like
a white shirt underneath that's sort of a little bit dirty and open, and then a leather jacket over it.
And they both kind of got like their like hips cocked, like they're like cowboys. Like it's very Han Solo. Yeah, you're right.
Which if I met Han Solo, I would try to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, same. I think we all try to be Han Solo.
We all have before, to less success than Oscar Isaac and John Boyega, for sure.
Oh yeah.
In my case, I don't know about you.
They're more Han Solo than I'll ever be. I can accept that.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll still make fun of him for it, but you know.
Do you think that Poe and Finn like are looking pretty close in this picture?
You know, like I can see it. I can also see that it's just like the way they characterize Poe. He's just that's who he is. He's just very close, very touchy-feely, very sentimental, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I can see that because it's also like Disney, and I don't know if like they want to. I mean, it'd be really progressive. It'd be cool of them to do it, but like I also don't know if they feel like they should, or like feel like they need to, or if they particularly want to. But I mean, I can see it. Nothing wrong with it. Maybe cool. Maybe different.
There was a gay couple in this. Have you read Star Wars Aftermath? Any of those?
No, but I have heard of the gay couple in there. So it exists in the galaxy far, far away.
It does exist. Not in a movie.
So not yet, but you know, maybe that could change.
I was just thinking it doesn't refute the gay rumors.
No, if anything, I don't think they would ever like outright say no. He's straight. This wouldn't happen. Well, if anything, I think like they'll say nothing and they'll let like fans come up like with their own ideas.
To me, it just and
encourage
that. Yeah, exactly. It doubles down on that Force Awakens moment where he gives him the jacket and he's like, "It suits you," and he like bites his lip a little bit. It just looks like a little bit more of that. Maybe that's just what he's like, but yeah. Do you see any other things in the picture that's interesting to you? Oh, they confirmed that he is in some sort of back to healing chamber, and then he gets out.
Yes. Yeah. Later on in the article, they call it a back to suit, and which makes me think Darth Vader. But I guess there's good versions of it too.
You don't have to have a castle on a lava planet.
Yeah, I'd be really interested if he like literally just looks like Darth Vader but white, and it's just very casual, and it's like, oh wow, okay, he thought he was special, but everyone's doing this.
Yeah. Well, if it's a suit, does that mean he can get out and like move around while still in the suit? Why else would it be like that?
I don't know. Well, maybe I'm assuming it's temporary. It's only for like a half hour, and then he's like good to go again.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't look any different in this like cover picture. So that signifies to me that he gets right back into the quickshin actly. Right back into the action quickly.
I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to edit out the correction. I'm just gonna
You're just going to have me sound like nonsense. God. Anyway,
it's just gonna be the breaths in between each of our points. That's all.
Just make me Darth Vader while we're talking about this.
Okay. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Anyway, I don't even remember. Anyway, so yeah, Poe's gonna get in the action. It definitely, you're right. It doesn't refute any gay theories that people have, so that's cool. Mm-hmm. And you know, I must say, like, Rose is like the new character here, and we've never seen her before. But like, when I first saw this picture, I didn't think, who the hell is that? Like, she just like, she feels so naturally there. Like, I don't like the way they made her look. She looks like just like you're like, she belongs in the Resistance. Basically, she's so befitting their group. Like, even like her posture, it's obviously she's not trying to Han Solo off, I guess, but like she also looks like she has some spunk to her. She looks like a resistance fighter. She looks like she belongs there and adds to the dynamic. So I'm
scrappy, like engineer.
yeah. So I'm interested in seeing what she actually does.
Yeah, no, me too. All right, so that's the heroes, but in the
The
flip
villain.
side, yeah, okay. I was gonna give it a lead in, but exactly the villains. Okay, we have Hux, Phasma, and Kylo Ren. In my opinion, Hux looks exactly the same. His
Yes.
hair looks a little bit greasy or whatever. Phasma, though, she has no mask, and we see Gwendolyn Christie in all her beauty. Her hair is kind of curled up, and she's wearing some eyeliner, and implying that at some point in the movie, we're going to see Phasma without her mask, which we've never seen yet. Kylo Ren has no mask in this photo, and he has a cape. His outfit's a little bit different, but most noteworthy is that he has a cape now. So,
Woo!
Alex, what jumps out to you? Obviously, Hux, right? You want to talk most about Hux?
Dude, like I think his hair is like 3 inches longer now. And that just says so much about the extra length he's willing to go in the next movie.
Best Picture just because of that.
Just because of that, he switched pomades, and now the galaxy will suffer.
That's the poster campaign.
Yeah, his pomade has Kyber tied all together. Literally slicking his hair back with lightsaber juice. Anyway, so yeah, Hux looks exactly the same. But yeah, I'm curious with Phasma if this is just like a marketing thing to like show Gwendolyn Christie's face and sort of like have all the celebrities on the page.
Yes, maybe.
Which is possible. I'm hoping that Phasma has her helmet off at some point in this one that sort of characterizes her more. It implies that she's going to have more screen time and more character growth, which is something she really needed. So I'm glad to see that, and that's what I'm crossing my fingers for. So Kylo has a cape now, and no mask, So I saw that you wrote here.
The mask.
Yeah, let's talk about the mask. You go first, then I'll give my spiel.
Well, my spiel is directly related to your spiel because when we talked about Steven Spielberg, that's my name. In the Last Jedi trailer, there's the now iconic shot of Kylo Ren's mask shattered on the ground and it's charred like he hit it with his lightsaber. And I was saying, cool, we're gonna get him throwing that mask away and we're gonna see him all vulnerable under the mask, which is like, in my opinion, some of the most interesting stuff that we get from him is once the mask comes off and we see that he's not a scary man, he's just a little punk bitch. But you, and I totally get your point, are saying that the design of the mask is so cool and they've already built that up to be pretty iconic in its own right in this new trilogy. So to take that away is sort of affecting how villainous he is. Do you want to elaborate on what you think again?
Yeah, so I like having strong antagonists in stories. I love when people are just evil and it's so like I mean understandably evil, but like also just like it makes things more exciting. The more evil, the more darker, the more fascinating they are. And I think the helmet added to that. It had, obviously it wasn't on par with like Darth Vader's, but it was still like an icon. It was part of like the new Star Wars like marketing. It's, the motifs in that are just like, yeah, they resonate. And it does kind of suck that I bought all this like Kylo merch and like they all have Kylo's like helmet on them, and now that's gonna feel like very dated. That's a small thing, but it's like walking around and being like, oh yeah, I love the prequels, and like all you have is Darth Maul. It's like, okay, you like the first movie, I guess, but I mean, more than that, I'm actually okay with him being no helmet.
Revelation.
Yeah, I mean, so my big thing with I like the helmet in the movie because he's more evil when he's wearing the helmet. That's sort of like his alter ego. That's when he's like getting into being dark, and I feel like he does more interesting things with the helmet on than helmet off. I mean, he's more interesting because he takes the helmet off and all that, but I like the dynamic of having both. And so I would be a little annoyed if he has no more helmet and he's just kind of like sniveling and like little bitch like the whole movie now. That would annoy me.
I joke about the little. Oh, I'm sorry. You were still talking. Go for
Yeah,
it.
I mean, and he's not really like a little bitch, but I mean, like, as far as him like always being conflicted and always being like that, I'd feel like it's a little tiresome. What I would like is if he's like, if it's a character moment for him to be like, I don't need the helmet anymore, because like the whole point of the helmet is that he's just trying to be Darth Vader. He's putting on the mask of Darth Vader. If him smashing the helmet and moving on from it is him saying, I can be my own evil. I don't need this. I don't need to be Vader. I can be me. And
Yeah.
that's my own thing. Then I'm all for that, because hashtag let Kylo be evil.
Right.
And then, you know, the cape, like adding the cape makes me kind of doubt if he's totally moving away from Darth Vader's aesthetic. It's sort of like swapping one for another. And I mean, as far as like seeing like his emotion and seeing his performance, I liked seeing it through the helmet. I thought that sort of added like, it's sort of like when you read the comics or you watch Darth Vader's performance and like he's looking at Luke and looking at Palpatine during the lightning scene, you can still see the emotion through the mask. And I feel like that's a layer, not a boundary.
Yeah. It both, in my opinion, both completely have their place. Because yeah, you have to establish that he's trying to be tough through the mask, but that he isn't the way he wants people to think that he is actually underneath the mask. And I like, obviously he's really an easy punching bag, like Anakin from the prequels with the sand, like you just calling
The
Kylo Ren
sand.
an emo little bitch and stuff. But like, truth be told, in a sense, he's scarier in a way when it comes off, because that's when we get him killing Han Solo and confronting them in the woods. And then when he's screaming at Finn, he's like, traitor, and he's fighting them. You're not scared in like a Darth Vader way, like, oh my God, he's so in control and intimidating. You're scared in like this guy
Like the unhinged
is
way.
crazy, and I don't know what he's
Yeah.
gonna do, and he doesn't know what he's gonna do. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, I think I think they could come up with a cool use for the helmet in this, like you're saying, like make it a meaningful moment, not just like a temper tantrum.
Yeah. And I totally get what you're saying, but like getting to watch him be unhinged is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if it would be as interesting if that's the way it is the entire movie. Like for me, I think it works so well because it's at the end after seeing him be in the helmet and sort of in control the whole
Yeah.
time and then break away from it. But I trust them at this point to tell a good story with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's not just like, I don't need this helmet. And then like that's it, and then he just kind of broods the whole movie. I think they'll do something interesting with it. I trust them.
Agreed.
And although I do want to see like why he decides on the cape. Is that just sort of like, is it just Snoke?
It's a Sith thing besides being a Darth Vader thing. Like Darth Vader
Well,
wasn't the first one.
yeah, but at some point he has to like actively decide, okay, I'm wearing a cape now. And so I'm wondering if that's something he decides just because he wants it, or if it's because like Snoke is like, okay, you've leveled up in Knights of Ren, you wear a cape now. You got you got you got promoted. You are now a paladin of Ren. There you go. We wear you wear capes.
He has his mom's fashion sense and ability where randomly in different scenes, Leia will just suddenly have different regal attire, and it's just never explained.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
so maybe he just has that.
Maybe he has to wear the cape when he visits Snoke. Maybe that's like, yeah, maybe like that's like a thing, like because like he has to go back to Snoke to train. Maybe that's like wherever Snoke's planet is or whatever his temple. It's like ceremonial, like you have to wear that as like a sign of respect.
It's true.
I don't know.
But to say that, we'd have to know literally anything about Snoke, which we don't.
No, we don't. And he is like the one guy in this article we got nothing on.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I blame Andy Serkis. It's all his fault.
Yeah, he's just too good.
He's too busy with those apes movies. He's not paying enough attention to this.
I know. He's not even a real person anymore. He's 7 fake people in computers.
If I saw him on the street, that's what I'd tell him.
You're 7 fake people. You're not real.
So speaking of Leia, it's very sweet because the last cover of the 4 is just Leia, no other characters, and she's wearing, like I said, a different, very pretty velvety looking brown robe, and her hair's done up like it always is. I just to say what I thought first, I just think it's great that they're honoring Carrie Fisher like this. I hope it's a sign that she has a really big role here. I don't think that it can be as big of a role as they're saying she would have had in 9, because in this they've kind of revealed that it was going to be like Force Awakens is Han Solo's starring thing, Last Jedi is Luke's, and then Episode 9 is Leia's. But it's going to be substantially more than it was in Force Awakens. So I guess in terms of a horrible situation with passing, I think they've set themselves up with some really good drama and her turning in a good performance in this one. So yeah.
Yeah, it's super bittersweet. And like it's it's been a couple months now, and it still hurts, and it's still moving on with Star Wars now without like Princess Leia is sort of just unfathomable. And like you read this article and you realize just like how much she was involved with like almost everyone on set. Like she helped Rian Johnson rewrite the scripts.
Yeah,
She
Leia's lines. That's so
yeah.
cool.
And she like mentored John Boyega, Daisy Ridley. It's like,
John Boyega, when all those freaky racists online were going at him about how the stormtrooper couldn't be black, she like made him feel a lot better about that whole thing.
Yeah, she was just like, F them. Like, do what you want, man. You got to live your own life. And then like, she told like Daisy to like never be like nervous, don't apologize for it, like own up to the occasion. And so it's really sad, and especially hearing like that line about like, oh, I hope I have like the big part in like Episode 9. Like even she was excited for it. That was a knife, man. That was twisting it. So, but I mean, for what it's worth, her part in Last Jedi looks great. I'm really glad that she has her own cover, I guess, and she looks so like regal. It's like a queen portrait. It looks like she's probably in terms of what she does in the movie. It looks like she's going to be more like involved in the politics and the formal stuff, talking to a lot of different people. It looks like she's not going to be just commanding troops like in the home base room. So she looks like she'll be more out and about, which I'm excited for.
Yes, me too. Yeah, we'll talk about her more in a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, so those were the covers, and there's so much to delve into just them in just those by themselves. Now we could actually talk about what's in the article, but we can also just get through some of this pretty quickly. So just first off, some stuff that Rian Johnson said. I really liked this, that he said that when it came down for him to sit down and write the script and like write the story, the question he asked himself was, he wrote down all the character names and he said, what would challenge these people the most? And that was sort of his approach to writing The Last Jedi. And, Adam Driver was saying, sort of like as a follow-up to that he thinks that everybody's in a rehabilitative state. He says of Kylo, I don't think patricide is all that's cracked up to be. Maybe that's where Kylo Ren is starting from in this movie. His external scar is probably as much as an internal one. Mm-hmm. So just first off, again, I love what Rian Johnson did with this. Those are the words of a writer who knows what they're doing. Like what makes good writing is drama and conflict, and you get the most drama and conflict specifically from overcoming the thing that's hardest for you to overcome. So that inspired so much confidence in me for like the quality of this movie. It's in good hands. So what other opinions do you have about all of that?
Well, if anybody, I feel, wrote down all the characters from Force Awakens and said what would challenge them the most, there's no way that you can write down Leia or that you can write down Kylo Ren and not say that the most challenging thing for him would be having to confront his mom. Like it makes it more like even more of a sure thing for me that's going to happen, because if that's the approach he's taking, that's the next wound for him. Or I mean, you could argue that Luke is almost equal, but that's not his mom. It's I've talked to death that I think he was closer to Leia than he was to Han, and that Snoke could be like, kill Leia, and he'd be like, what? I don't have my mask. I'm not tough anymore. What do I do? But the other thing about this quote is that it kind of made me, in hindsight, appreciate the cool setup that Force Awakens gave us for a sequel, because like we always talk about, everyone's beef with it is it's exactly A New Hope. But if you think about it, A New Hope literally ends with this party. Everybody's happy. They're clapping. Chewie's like, "Argh," and they win and they get medals. But Force Awakens, Han's dead. Finn's in a coma. Leia lost her husband. Kylo Ren is unstable. Luke is sad. And Rey has to convince Luke to like come back into action. So there's so much that was left sort of up in the air, very Empire Strikes Back style. So props to JJ for not ripping off A New Hope's ending in that sense.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think a lot of people, when it comes to comparing The Force Awakens to the old movies, they conflate themes and motifs with narrative, and they're not the same thing. Just because there are X-Wings and lightsaber battles and mentor figures, that doesn't mean that it's a one-to-one movie. You know, A New Hope was clearly meant as just like a standalone thing in and of itself. Whereas you watch The Force Awakens and you can see the sort of long view that's in that the movie was made with in mind from the very beginning.
Yes.
So and I think they set things up for the sequels in much different ways. Like when A New Hope ends, like other than Darth Vader being alive and like the Emperor being alive, there's so much more room for what's going to happen next. Whereas with the end of Force Awakens, you can see there's more immediate cliffhangers that are going to be resolved.
Yeah.
There's a greater sense of urgency, I think, in the new trilogy.
Well, they're picking up right where the last one left off, so that just proves it.
Exactly. So to me, that's different enough. I think that's very different.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So yeah, moving along. So like we're saying, it's just chock full of information, and there's this. Alex, I don't know if you were following like all the talk at Star Wars Celebration, but like Mark Hamill just has this thing that he keeps saying, and he said it there, and he said it again in this Vanity Fair article, and it's like he's saying that he wishes in his ideal version of like episode 7, actually, he's like, well, what should have happened was that I should have gone off my island, met up with Leia, and we should have been there when Han dies so that we can react to it in a way that is more dramatic than Finn and Rey reacting to the death, who have only known him for like a little while. And he kind of complains about it again in this article. It's clear that he's joking and that he does think it's cool what Rian Johnson did, but I don't know. I just, as a little aside, it's not the like biggest piece of news, but I was like, Mark isn't really
Luke.
Just shut up. Like you, because he's forgetting that's literally exactly what Luke does in A New Hope. Like he's like, Obi-Wan's the coolest dude ever. He's giving me new purpose, and then Obi-Wan dies, and he's like, Leia literally just got her planet destroyed. Everyone she knows is dead, but Luke is being comforted by Leia because this guy just died.
Lost Obi-Wan, who you met like a week ago.
Yeah, it's movie land. That stuff happens all the time. So yeah. Do you have any strong opinions about Mark Hamill being himself?
I mean, I think he's kind of an old guy now, and old guys get kind of crotchety and think they know what's best. And I mean, I kind of feel bad for him because like they put him on such like a big diet and like exercise regiment, and he's like, all right, I get to be Luke Skywalker again. Yeah, I'm gonna get into it. And he gets physically active again for like the first time in years, I think. And he just gets the script, and he's only there for 10 seconds, doesn't say anything. So he probably, I mean, like obviously I love the way the movie ended, and I think he does too. But he probably was like a little salty. He like did all that work just for that. And they probably just told him like, oh, just wait till the next one. The next one will be good. See, now you don't have to exercise for the next one. You're already good. But
just eat the same amount of calories as you're burning. Now you just have to maintain. Now you just have
to you're good. So yeah, I see the merits in what he's saying as far as like, I really like what he said that like it would feel like, the gang being reunited on the Death Star basically, but it's reverse because it's not the Death Star. And obviously one of them dies as opposed to all of them escaping. So it's sort of like that dark inversion of what happened. Like I like that. I think there is like a type of poetry to that, but it necessitates them, or it necessitates them showing Luke leaving the island and meeting Leia and all of that to build up to that. And by doing that, you're either making the movie really, really long, or you're cutting out time with Rey, Finn, Poe. And you can't do that because at the end of the day, it's their movie. It's the new movies. It's the new characters.
Yes.
So, and even he admits he's happy that he was wrong on how it all turned out. So I think he had some interesting ideas, but ultimately I think what they went with is the better idea. And I think he's just an old man and talking about like, if I had my way, and he's just sort of blabbing because old guys like to blab.
I mean, Chewie got to watch it. That was enough for me. Mark
Yeah.
didn't even mention that. Like that, if anybody, like even Leia, like it was probably saddest to see Chewie's reaction.
Yeah, I mean, like Mark Hamill said, like, "Oh, what are you gonna get out of like?" Rrr! And like, you get a lot out of Chewie going.
You get decades of history.
Yeah, Chewie's the person who's known him the longest. He's known him even longer than Leia. I mean, yeah, Leia was like his wife, but Chewie's been with him as just in terms of time and consistency. Chewie's like been Luke's shadow. I mean, Han's shadow. So yeah, to me, it's enough.
Yeah,
but just moving along here. Another big thing.
Alex, there are other revelations in this article.
Oh man, you have no idea. I was just sitting. I was reading it on the train this morning, and I just kept scrolling, and I was like, "How much did they tell Vanity Fair? What is Vanity Fair paying Disney? Jesus." Anyway, like this is a hot story. So the most surprising thing to me was that they revealed that on Luke's island there is an indigenous race of caretaker creatures also on that planet. So we always joke about Luke being a hermit and him being lonely and by himself for years. No, he's been living with like this little village of aliens the whole time, apparently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so Rian Johnson isn't saying anything about them other than that they are not Ewoks. Uh-huh. So I guess that's about it. And they live in little beehive-shaped huts. And that's like a little Jedi village. Yeah. Or like a once Jedi village. So yeah, Luke wasn't alone. Luke's been living with some aliens. What do you think of that?
Maybe that's why he felt so comfortable staying there for that long, is that he was just having some kind of social life. He'd go out on the town with the little people.
Yeah, maybe those aliens are like really cool. They're just like the coolest aliens.
Yeah, looks like I get it. It was bad that I didn't come see Han. I really wanted to, but we had to go out to the little alien bar that night.
They're so much fun. They're such good cooks. They're so welcoming.
What I'm wondering is I highly doubt that J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan had conceived of there being anybody on this island besides Luke at the end of Force Awakens. So also keep in mind, this island is not very big. It's like I can't tell exactly how big, but it doesn't seem like it's really like a city-sized thing. It has like a few different sides of it and a few huts here and there. So what this leads me to believe is that these creatures are probably pretty small. They probably sit in those little huts, and they're probably really small and probably have some connection to the Jedi Temple, because that's the whole point of the island. That's
right.
Luke went looking for the first Jedi Temple, and there it is. So I was thinking, like, are they all Yoda's race? Is that how they're going to bring Yoda into this somehow? Are they just something else entirely? Like, one of the many reasons you love Return of the Jedi, Alex, is that you like how the Ewoks are sort of an embodiment of the Force in their culture.
Yes.
So is this other civilization along that vein, even though they're not literally Ewoks?
I believe so. I think no matter who they are, they're going to be primitive and very like close to the Force. So they're not Ewoks, which kind of bums me out, but people hate the Ewoks, so I get it.
But they built boats and sailed onto this island.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, if they can build those elaborate booby traps, they can build a boat, I'm sure.
They can build a boat, totally. Then it makes sense why like Luke has his island, but they can like sail, like Moana Ewok style, like to the other islands.
See the line where the sky meets the sea.
It calls me. Yeah. So no matter what, I think they're going to be smaller, and they got to be primitive in terms of like not having like radio or like, the little like holocrons or whatever. Just because if they had any technology whatsoever, word would have gotten out that, Luke goddamn Skywalker is living here now. So
They all
they're,
ask him for his autograph. It's just a mess.
yeah, exactly. They can't have that. So they're definitely going to be on the, or the simpler side. They're probably going to be more religious and monk-like, I assume, probably tied to the Force, close to the Force, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be Yoda, like little Yodas running around. If you notice, like other than like a few Legends things, nobody delves into Yoda's past really in terms of like his childhood, where he comes from. The name, like we still don't know the name of like there's no official canon name for like his alien species, and I think that's intentional to kind of keep him mysterious and make him feel like he's like the one figure of that. He's like extra alien because he's the only one that we know of, other than that one girl one that was in the Phantom Menace and then never seen again. I assume Yoda killed her. Like that's
He had to have. I saw one that was like that meme. She was his queen, and God help anybody that dared disrespect
his queen. It just had like a pink and a blue in the hair.
Just girl hair, yeah.
Oh God. But yeah. So this was a big juicy drop that there's aliens on the island. That's different. Didn't expect it.
Yeah, totally. I hope they're all voiced by Simon Pegg. Okay, moving on. So Oscar Isaac, in my opinion, maybe he let something slip in this article too. There's some pictures that sort of could be interpreted as letting it slip, but they started revealing that Oscar Isaac said, so to be there and to watch Mark revisit Luke, particularly in those scenes we were shooting towards the end of the film, was bizarre and jaw-dropping. And to me, that just means Luke is going to, at some point, make it back and be reunited with Leia, who is probably with Poe and Finn. So I think it's more likely that Luke goes off the island to there than it is for Leia and those folks to come to Ahch-To, because that's out in the middle of nowhere. All the action's going on around the Rebel headquarters, I'm sure. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I wanted that spoiler. Like, I think that would have been a nice surprise when Luke got off that island. But yeah, I'm glad they're reunited. That needed to happen at some point. Like Mark Hamill was saying himself, that's something that could have happened in Episode 7 and built drama. It's going to be absolutely heartbreaking when Luke and Leia see each other. Like,
oh yeah,
that is. There's like 100 different reasons why they're gonna cry and we're gonna cry, because they haven't seen each other in years. They both have the mutual knowledge that Luke failed their son, and their son killed both of their best friend, Leia's husband, Luke's best friend, and they both know it, and they've never talked about it. And it's just they have to just see each other, and I bet it will all just be conveyed in their faces, and some kind of hug. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. What do you think about Luke going and meeting up with all those people?
Yeah, I think when he does reunite with Leia, there's not going to be a single dry eye in that theater. It's gonna be rough, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be cathartic. Like, I think the story needs it. As far as like letting things slip with Oscar Isaac, it's entirely possible that like sometimes when they film scenes, like actors will be on the set, but like they're not actually filming the scene yet. So like, or like their like set is right next to the other one, so they're around and they just get to watch what other people are doing. So maybe, he didn't just say like, yeah, and then Luke Skywalker shows up and says hi to Finn and Poe. So maybe that doesn't actually happen. Maybe he's just talking about like being on set and witnessing Mark Hamill.
He does mention that it's at the end of the film, though. Like he's pretty specific that it wasn't. He didn't say at the end of our shooting schedule, which could have been some other random time. It's pretty implied, but yeah, I guess.
Okay. Well, I mean, sometimes they film stuff out of order. I don't know, but yeah. But the thing that set me off was the word bizarre. Like jaw dropping is pretty generic, like movie talking. Like, oh yeah, it's so good. It was jaw dropping. It was exciting. But bizarre, I think, is an interesting word choice for what Luke is going to do, and like the new facets of Luke are bizarre. So
Yeah.
I don't really have a guess for that. I hope it's like some new crazy force power, but
Yeah. Wishful thinking, probably, but
yeah, that's probably just that's
yeah.
probably just my
I
wish.
don't think the bizarre thing is a big reach. Like, because it is bizarre that Luke, as a character in popular culture, is like, in the original trilogy, he was the hero protagonist man. Like, he's a naive little kid, and
Hmm.
he's just going on this adventure, and he's being strong and all this, and he finishes and he wins and he beats the bad guy. And then this is like very bizarre in a sense, because you're revisiting that archetype all these years later and seeing what time and reality and shitty circumstances can do to you and do to your outlook. So it's sort of like the Logan of Luke,
The Logan of Luke, yeah, I can see that.
if you know what I mean, like taking
Hmm.
that character and adding all this time and all this struggle, and that's bizarre. Like, Luke is saying stuff like the Jedi should end. That's that's crazy. Like, I never thought Luke would ever say anything like that.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I guess I'm just hoping for more force powers. Really,
Oh,
that's
believe me,
just
I'm not hoping for that. I hope, I've told you, I want Luke to be able to project some sort of force shield. And then Snoke's like
force
shooting
shield.
lightning at him, and he puts up a force shield, because the Jedi are all about defense, and the dark side is all about attack. And if their ultimate, like, Avatar state level powers were embodying that, like, it looked kind of like the lightning, except it was just an orb that could protect people from the lightning. It'd be dope.
It's like Gandalf on the bridge, like the "You shall not pass" bubble that he puts up.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
There
Yoda
you
kind
go.
of can absorb energy and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. Just make a big one of those, a big blue ball of impenetrable. Yeah. Anyway, so some more stuff. Apparently, Finn and Rose are going to be going behind enemy lines in the Last Jedi. This makes complete sense to me. I kind of already assumed that like that's what Finn would do eventually if he could walk and shoot a gun.
yeah, basic stuff.
It's, yeah. So I like that. It makes sense to put Finn there, just like in the world. It also makes sense like narratively. It puts him in a spot for a lot of drama. To him being around, like, oh, like these used to be my friends. I used to go here. Now I'm killing them. Oh, that's weird. Also, like if someone recognizes him and he gets like caught, we get another traitor moment. That's always good.
Uh-huh.
And then people are suggesting that Kelly Marie Tran's Rose is gonna have like romance with Poe. I mean Finn. I mean, might as well just be Poe and Finn. They can be poly. They can just be. Why
Why
decide?
stop at just gay? Let's do the triple.
Why? Yeah, why decide? Why set barriers? Break barriers.
That's what Star Wars
Bring
is
the
always
barriers
about.
down. That's what it's all about. That's when they went to Starkiller Base. What did they do? What did Finn do? He brought down the barrier with the help
You're
of
off the hinge.
Poe. That is with the help of Poe. Only together can they break the
You are
barrier.
high on something. I don't know what
And,
it is, Alex.
okay, well, yeah. Anyway,
I'm high
Finn's
on
gonna be
Star
with
Wars,
Rose.
motherfucker. Just
Finn and Rose. It's pretty
yes,
late.
maybe.
We're recording this late in the night, later than we usually do.
True, it's 10
Um,
p.m.
yeah. Finn and Rose are behind enemy lines. That's what they're doing. What do you think about that?
Alex, do you remember that rumor that may or may not be true, that they said Tom Hardy was going to cameo in episode 8 as a stormtrooper that recognizes Finn?
Oh, okay.
Remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that could be this, or that scene could be contained within the
Part of that.
undercover
Yeah.
plot line. Because they love dressing up actors and giving them cameos inside of stormtrooper costumes. So
Yeah.
they're gonna take advantage of the fact that Finn was once a stormtrooper and he knows lots of people, man.
For sure. For
I think
sure.
they mentioned an ass slap in there too. He's like, "See you later, buddy," and he slaps his butt.
Hmm.
So yeah, cool. Alex, oh yeah, you're wanting to.
Yeah. Pause. So we're getting close to like 50 minutes. I was thinking what we could do
Right.
is like for the quick thoughts at the end there. Like the only ones I think that are like that we need to really bring up are Benicio del Toro and Laura Dern.
True. We
And
already kind of talked about most of the other things.
yeah, so I think we can just talk about those in the Canto Bite part that we're about to talk about because they're sort of like there.
Okay.
So we can just do that, and then I guess end with Carrie Fisher slapping, or end with the Ray picture. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
let's do that. That's a good idea.
Okay, yeah. So just I want to get that out so we can like cut like Chewie and the Falcon and like Kylo holding lightsaber up and droids. But yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
just we'll get in the Canto, and we'll also talk about Laura Dern and Benicio del Toro in here. Okay, cool, got it.
Okay, I'll do it.
Onward.
Okay, so I think probably the last big bit of information that we got in this article, Alex, was about a new planet. They compared this planet that is called Canto Bight to a casino city, sort of a James Bond debonair atmosphere where, quote, where Ryan Johnson is quoted as saying, "It is a playground for rich assholes." That's a
Great.
big planet. I know that's a big planet in this movie. And there's some characters that seem to be from the pictures contained within this planet. Like stuff goes on there. Like we have Benicio del Toro, possibly. His environment around him looks a little bit different, but it could be underground there. It could be in a back alley there, but it's a new planet. So he's playing this guy named DJ. He kind of just looks like Benicio del Toro chilling on some crates with like grease on his face. He doesn't have like a very elaborate costume. Unlike the other one that they revealed, which is Laura Dern's character. Alex, remember how Laura Dern is in this movie? I keep forgetting.
I keep forgetting too, and then she looks nothing like herself in this picture. She like that cotton candy hair. It's pretty crazy.
She looks like Effie Trinket from Hunger Games completely.
She does. She does. She totally does.
I got a vibe not only from her but from a bunch of people at that party. Her character's name is Vice Admiral Amelin Holdo. It's just a very Star Warsy sounding name. Like it's got the right amount of syllables. Da 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 da. Like Amelin Holdo. Yeah, she looks very pink. My concern is that actually about the Hunger Games thing, like it will just seem like visually derivative of that, of all things for Star Wars to look derivative of. But I don't think we've seen all of it. Like Hunger Games doesn't own a patent on people having purple hair.
Yeah, I think it's just because like what Ryan Johnson says, playground for rich assholes. Like rich assholes like is the Hunger Games. It's like kids killing each other and rich assholes watching. So I feel like anything with rich assholes is now going to feel like the Hunger Games to some extent. Just because like the whole lavishness thing is like its whole thing. But I actually really liked the pictures that we got from Canto Bight. I remember we saw the pictures of people in like suits a while back, and we all thought it was like a funeral because it looked so out of left field.
True.
But I like the idea that we get to see a bit of the Star Wars universe that's like luxurious and leisurely. Because so much of Star Wars is very scrappy and like militaristic, tactical, grungy, all that. But you know, it's a whole galaxy, and there's some people who are just people going about their average day to day, spending money, having a good time. And so I feel like we get to see some of that, and I think that widens the universe. It's also cool to see more aliens. Also aliens in like fancy suits, so there's rich aliens. I think it's going to be different, definitely, but I want different. So I'm really looking forward to it. As far as Benicio del Toro, I think he's still part of this planet. I think he's like part of like the underground, or he's like the shadier side. You know, like there's always like that. There's like always that theme of like the really fancy rich place, but like you need to have the shady guys like to actually run it. Yeah. And I think he's totally one of those.
Casino enforcer.
Yeah, like a bouncer or just like part of the mob who's like secretly funding the place, something like that. He's probably the guy they're really there to talk to, but they have to go there and like put up appearances to blend in and not take like, you know, that not be suspicious basically. That's what I'm predicting. So people are calling him DJ, and like that's not his real name. That's just what they're calling him as far as what them talking about him to us. And Ryan Johnson's acting like it's a big deal what his name really is, since that's what they have to have DJ.
Well, he's obviously leading us to believe that this is a shared universe with Full House.
Uh, that's different. That see,
He's
I was
strongly
assuming
implying it, in my opinion.
See, I thought DJ stood for Darth Jar Jar, and so he's finally confirming it.
Yeah,
Um,
we knew it was coming. A lot of people actually
yeah,
think it's Dark Jedi. That's a
yeah,
common thing.
that was the thing I was actually going to jump into. So lots of people think it's Dark Jedi, and that it's Ezra from Rebels.
It's not.
It's
Pablo
that's
Hidalgo said it's not.
but people, it's so weird how like people don't care what Pablo Hidalgo says, even though he is like the guy,
He
and he's
doesn't
like, I
lie. I
promise
don't think
you,
he's lied yet.
he's never lied, and yet people act like, oh well, he's just covering it up, so it remains a secret, and like
No.
it's a big twist. But I see through it. No, no. He tweeted something today. He's like, hey, here's a rad idea. New characters can be new characters, and
It's very passive aggressive. I love
it's
it.
very passive aggressive, but I love that. Because yeah, it's not as Ezra is older than Luke, I think, so he would
Yeah.
not look like Benicio del Toro. He'd look way older. Anyway, it's just yeah, it's not Ezra. It's not Ezra. I don't think he's a Jedi. I don't think he has anything to do with the Force. I think he has a small role, all things considered.
I do
But
too. I'm getting like a Max von Sydow level role feeling.
yeah, I'm getting like 10 minutes tops.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm still interested. He looks cool. He looks like a Star Wars guy, but that's about it.
Yeah.
As far as Laura Dern, I can't really. She looks a lot different than I expected, and I really don't know what she's gonna do now. I'm getting the impression that she's either going to be like incompetent because she's so like foppish, or used to because she's supposed to join the Resistance. She does not look like she's from the Resistance, so she
No.
looks like she's a new addition, like fresh from this Canto place or from like the Republic, but she's like rich and prissy or whatever. And there's like theories that she's actually like evil and trying to bring it down. I could see that if she's like paid off and that's her thing. I also just see it as her like thinking she knows what she's doing, but since she's not tactical in any way, she leads stuff to ruin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
What do you think about?
if it's a playground for rich assholes, then she looks like the richest and most assholish of them all. And
Indeed.
she's a member of the Resistance. And I don't see her and Leia agreeing on much because like I'm actually just thinking of this now. It would be a kind of a cool clashing of that they both look like they have tons of money, but Leia is more classy about that and more regal in her presentation of her
She's not flaunting
wealth,
it.
and she's not flaunting it. And maybe it's like an old money, new money thing. Like,
Ooh, yeah.
possibly Admiral what's her face from Laura Dern. Her money is like illegally obtained through methods that Leia does not approve of, but can't prove that she really got it that way. Who knows?
Maybe they like go to Canto to like get funds, and Laura Dern like runs the place, and she's like, "Sure, I'll join you. I'll give you money, but I want to be a part of it too." And that's like part of the deal.
Yeah, but we don't know. Like we could be wrong.
I don't know. We could be very wrong. She could just be a totally average general just with purple hair. It's Star Wars. It could people push things just because they believe in it. So
there's a frogman that's in charge of everything in Return of the Jedi. So what do you know about that?
Yeah. So anything could happen.
Paths in Return of the Jedi. That's what they would have said if they were speculating.
Yeah. Oh, back in the day. It's like, I bet the snake and Dagobah could use the Force too.
Continuity. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The last thing. Do you want to say it, Alex? The last little bit.
Yeah, you can go for it.
Okay. So they described some scenes in this, and one of them was interesting. Like Carrie Fisher, apparently Leia she has a scene where she slaps Poe Dameron across the face.
Mm-hmm.
And they were telling the story in the context of how many takes they had to do, because Oscar
20
was like, yeah, I had to do like 25
20
takes
slaps.
of this. And Carrie, really, she just leaned into it every time. And he says it so casually, and I'm like, damn, this is interesting, because we in the comics and in Force Awakens, it's clear that like Poe is her favorite pilot. So
yeah,
it raises the question of what the hell did he say? How did he insult her fashion sense or something to warrant the slap across the face? Alex, do you have any little theories there?
Right. So I had like three scenarios. One is that like they have some kind of argument and Poe just like gets to her, probably by saying something to the effect of like, it's all your fault. This was stupid. You made a bad decision. Because that's of the things that upset Leia, that's definitely one of them, is like when her sense of responsibility and like her, her being like culpable for like protecting other people, when that is insulted or when that is brought into question, I think that's when she'd feel passionate enough to slap her own person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the most likely. It's sort of like that, like, how dare you? Like, who do you think you are? Slap. Another kind is maybe like Poe is just like losing his mind. Maybe like they're getting attacked. Poe like has his fourth X-wing blown up that month. He just can't take it anymore.
That's his breaking point.
It's just I can do three, I just can't do four. And then just like, get a hold of yourself.
That's awesome. I hope so.
And then the third one I called as aggressively maternal. I feel like it's the less likely, given what Oscar was. Sorry, no, what Oscar, my good friend Oscar, what Oscar Isaac was saying about her like leaning into it. Maybe he was just being like hyperbolic, but like moms do like sort of like good job or like you goof, like sort of like that, like slap on the cheek. It sounds more like the other two, but maybe it's just like a little like.
I think it actually was like a real slap, and I think it could have something to do with Kylo Ren, because she has like a spot. That's what a lot of people are saying. I'm not like original in coming up with this, but like he's like one of the leading commanders of the military that they're fighting, and I feel like her ability to lead will be compromised by that. Like they'll be like, we're gonna bomb this First Order base, and she'll be like, we shouldn't. They'll be like, why?
Yeah,
it's a really good idea. Like there are so many targets there, and she's like, I can't let you do it. And that's the context.
Because Ben is there. Yeah,
and it's, again, if you wrote down Leia's name, that's the most dramatic conflict that could happen for her. And I kind of like the idea that maybe Poe is like the rational one, and it's like that Leia's sort of losing her grip.
It's her.
It really acts it well too. So that makes me think that there's something going on, like to make her that heated.
Yeah, I've changed my mind. That's definitely it. Just forget everything I said about Poe going crazy. That's definitely it.
I kind of like, get a hold of yourself. I kind of like that too, though.
like the airplane moment. That would be funny.
Where everybody comes up individually.
Yeah, it ends with like Rey like stabbing him with the lightsaber. It's like the scene in Airplane where it just gets progressively. Anyway. It's definitely got to be like something, but Kylo, like, we wouldn't be in this mess if like you would actually raise your son right. Like he'll like snap, he'll say something like that
for a moment.
Yeah, then just whoopah. Like it's definitely that. I think you're right. That's like her biggest sore spot is probably her own son.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
Ooh,
incredibly dramatic, and I'm really excited.
Some good old Leia slaps. So
our grand conclusion to this is just a picture, and it's Alex. The picture that is our grand conclusion is in fact my new desktop background.
Oh, it's a good one. It's worth it.
It's incredible. It's one of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen come out of a Star Wars movie in terms of how it's framed. And I don't know if it's actually a shot in the movie, but I hope if it's not, something like it is, because they full CGI that lightsaber, and Rey is just on the cliffs of Ahch-To, and there's such deep focus out onto the waters. And yeah, I love it. That's the finale. Alex, do you like that picture too?
I love that picture. It like the way it's framed, like the way she's like holding it, it looks very much like a painting or like a poster.
It's like the rule of thirds. She's on like one side of it, and then the rest of it.
Yeah, it's like the Fibonacci spiral like going on. Yeah, it's really good. I also, what I really like is like seeing her like training with the lightsaber, like also there and like a few other times in the trailers too. It's like I had the thought that we, other than like a few scenes, we only see lightsabers during the fights, whereas like these, it looks like we're having more of these like sort of like intimate, like getting to know it, like really like respecting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that gives more like reverence and gravitas to the lightsaber. it's something to be respected. It's not just a weapon. It's part of Rey now, and it looks like she's really like embracing it and like becoming one with it, and like with everything she's doing. And like that's what I get the most out of that picture is her. It's not just her like doing a stretch. It's her like becoming one with the lightsaber and really embracing it. And that just makes me really excited for this new movie all about lightsabers and where they go.
Made me literally think Obi-Wan says in Attack of the Clones, this weapon is your life. And it's like such an important, reverent thing for the Jedi. But this is the most extreme example of that because Rey is using Luke's lightsaber. He's like letting her have it. So
yeah,
it's like when your grandpa or your dad or whatever buys you a watch and you know you have to wear it whenever you hang out with him and you have to make sure it doesn't get scratched because he got you such a good gift. It's like you better treat that thing right because you don't know I don't even know what that thing's been through. It fell off of a city and somebody found it and then you have it again. You will respect it.
Exactly. So
yeah.
That was our big spiel on Vanity Fair's article. You can go pick it up. I think my girlfriend bought all 4 variant covers, so
wow,
we have it. We watched it, read it, digested it. It's really good. Check it out. But hope you got a lot out of us sort of dissecting it and looking between the lines because that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, thanks for tuning in with us. We had to talk about this so much because we take so much breaks and then we need to just vent all our Star Wars stuff out. But like we're always saying, we're gonna try to get out some more theory episodes or something. So we're a bit more regular about it. But yeah, if you're still listening, thanks for sticking with us. We really love talking about Star Wars. Keep checking out the young folks and all that fun stuff on there.
Yep, hang in there, guys. We'll get to more content. We always do. Always do. Yeah, that's the corporate word for you. But yeah, Star Wars. We love talking about it. Love having you guys listen to us.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
Have a good one.
Yay!
All right,
I'm about to lose my mind because I think it actually worked this time.
Woo!
Like a good lose my mind.
Wouldn't that be good? All right, so
like I think it just recorded. What a novel concept.
What a novel concept. Okay, as
so yeah, send me the link.
Yeah, well, first I gotta stop this broadcast.